Hello everybody. We're waiting an eternity for Arena to find me an opponent. Usually it takes close to 30 seconds when they're searching for a specific match to make sure you lose, but I've already lost quite a few times in a row just because they've been land starving me consistently. I haven't even hit 5 lands yet, and I've got a 25th land in the deck. I've got 61 cards in here. So the extra card is a land card. And it didn't deal me any creatures, it only dealt me the cards that I have to bring the creatures back. So this is probably a bad hand, but I've got an early board wipe. So, what can I say? I'm a glutton for punishment. We only have 2 colors. We're white and black. Let's see how many colors that these people have. It's a ramp card. Why am I not surprised? Well, at least I'm guaranteed to get some land this time. This is already better than I've done my last 4 games in a row. Another land ramp card. What are they building up to? At last I got a creature. It's not the creature I wanted, but I'll take it. They really packed a lot of special lands in here, didn't they? Are you only doing the 2 colors, though? No mountains? Just a way to get the mountains out. What did we find? Beanstalk Worm. Okay. Another way to play additional land for the turn. Interesting. They don't bother attacking. We'll use this as a regular land. And we wait. I basically want to get 6 lands so I can do a board wipe by the time they bring down their big guns. I can control them for a little bit with Black Sun's Twilight, possibly. Because that is an instant. Okay, they have the extra land. So they ramp and put down the creature all in the same turn. I'm going to wait and see if I get the land. Okay, so we attack. And we just use this. I don't have anything in my graveyard to bring back. Another one. Okay. And a way to get rid of my creature. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. Now it's worth doing this. Board wipe, please. They spent all of their resources just to get the land out. Now their deck's a little thinned out. And we have Iganjo to help us out if they feel comfortable enough attacking into that. Hopefully they don't have another Cosmic Hunger. Let's see if they got a trick or not. They do not. Sweet. Alright, so we do Extraction Specialist into Extraction... Oh, no, it can't. That brings back mana value 2 or less. Do I bring back one of mine now? I feel like I want to wait. I just sort of want to see what else they're going to do. I'm curious as to what the rest of this makeup is. It isn't just Beanstalk Worms and Silverback Elders, is it? Look at that, Eternal Wanderer.
This is our enemy? Keep your eyes sharp.
Okay, so I can do this, right? Do 5, get rid of that, and that means I can bring my creature back. We go ahead and attack that in. I can only attack once at a time, right? One creature at a time is all that can attack the Eternal Wanderer.
Thank you for your help.
That's okay. That's right on time. You gain 3 life from that. You go there, and you go there. I don't have to direct that one, because the limit on Eternal Wanderer means that automatically any other attacker can only target the opponent. And now we're just having fun. And we've got all this stuff in reserve we didn't need to use. Uh-oh. Gruff Triplets. Talk about the top deck of the world. Two of my last 4 decks have involved Gruff Triplets. That is uncanny. Okay, so if I do this... Auto pay, auto pay. I can't really attack, can I? Because the Gruff Triplets plus that really is like the only thing that could have saved them. No, come on through. We've got a ways to go here. I need something to get rid of everybody. I can't even attack into that. They don't have lifelink. Okay, so if I double block now... We're going to get basically 2 12/12s. Okay, that one's to explore. That's mana value 3. So if I do... Let's do this one. There we go. Do you feel you can attack? You actually... Oh, hello. Oh, no. Top deck heaven. I need a board wipe again. This is not legendary. So what if I block with 1? That actually... Yeah, I mean, I'm still taking 6 points of damage after the life gain, right? But 6 is better than... Oh, thank you. Okay, so we just swing in and hit. I had to get one of these eventually, right? The opponent doesn't really have a choice on what not to block. They're down to 9 life. I'm just getting the life gain out of this stuff. Everybody goes away. That way all of these gruff triplet counters can't go anywhere. Helping Hand. Let's take you. Fortunately, I might have done that wrong because I didn't have a way to pump this up. But at the rate they're going in top decking, I'll probably have another creature that can kill this really soon. Oh, I like that. Okay, return this to the battlefield. That gets me 2 draws, which is nice, and it gets me the Extraction Specialist back. Life is good. Just not another Gruff Triplets, right? Although I could probably... I've got Gix's command, so I could handle one more Gruff Triplets. But it's just funny because I've been commenting... I used Gruff Triplets like twice in the last 4 decks, right? And I was talking about how much I love the card and how much I want to build more decks around it and stuff like that. But I hadn't been seeing it used against me at all. And ta-da! Today it's used against me. So, yeah, scary card to come up against. Alright, this one is kind of based on a deck that beat me in the past. I'm not using all the same cards. I'm specifically missing... There was one of those angels that you could use to cast things once per turn from your graveyard. But I kind of went with my own twist on it. I mean, the deck just sort of took on a life of its own. But the theme of what it's based on is the idea that Boardwipes won't stop you because you can always bring something back from your graveyard. So, you look at the average mana cost is 2.8. We've got a fairly good mix of white and black. 25 lands, so that, as I said, that one extra land makes up my 25th. My 25th land makes up the 61st card. But only 13 creatures. That's because I've got all these things to bring them back as force multipliers. So I'm expecting to lose a bunch of creatures. I'm just going to bring them back each time. So for the creatures, I've got 4 copies of Phyrexian Missionary. I can bring it out as a 2/3. Later I can kick it, and if I kick it, then I return target creature from the graveyard to my hand. 2 more creatures, Extraction Specialist. I can return a Phyrexian Missionary to the battlefield. That creature can't attack or block as long as I control the Extraction Specialist, so once the Specialist dies, then the Missionary becomes unfrozen and I can use that one to attack. I've got Terror of Tawashi, 4/3 Death Touch. Whenever it attacks, I can pay 4 mana, and when I do, return a target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. It becomes a Phyrexian as well. And it'll be interesting to test that. I think it stays that way, so if I bring back a creature and it becomes Phyrexian, and then I bring it back with a different card, does it still come back as a Phyrexian again? This one's already Phyrexian, so I want to test it out on like an Extraction Specialist or Hero of the Dunes. This is a gold card, but it's not a legendary card, so we can have multiples out at the same time. When it enters the battlefield, I can return either an artifact or a creature. It has to be mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Creatures you control with mana value 3 or less get +1 to their strength. So the more of those that I get out, the tougher the bigger the strength is going to be. I can bring back every other creature I have except for the 1 copy of Terror of Tawashi. So this creature, if I've got any one of these 6 other creatures in the graveyard, I can just bring them back. I do have one other creature in here, Gixian Puppeteer. Whenever you draw your 2nd card, opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. I didn't build this deck around card draw too much, but you notice when the Puppeteer dies, return another target creature card, again with mana value 3 or less, from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's kind of interesting that white has been really concentrating on this mana value 3 or less, mana value 2 or less type stuff. Black is not. Black usually has stuff like, here, Defossilize. This is from Ixalan, so it has an Explore feature to it, right? Return target creature card from the graveyard directly to the battlefield. It explores and then explores again. That's a fun card. I like it. And then finally we have the Intrepid Adversary as my final creature card. So whenever it enters battlefield, I can use it as mana sink, 1 in a white, any number of times. So if I've got 6 mana and 3 of them are white, I can pump this up, put 3 counters on the adversary, and all of my other creatures also get +1/+1. Let's see, is there anything that I'm missing for creatures? No, I think that's all my creatures. Okay, to help me out, no pun intended, Helping Hand. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, but it is tapped. I've got Black Sun's Twilight for crowd control, but I chose one that fits the theme because if X is 5 or more, I can also return a creature card with mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. It also comes back tapped. I'll take it. 4 copies of Recommission. Same thing. Artifact or creature card, mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. But instead of coming back tapped, these come back with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. Can't Stay Away is an older card. Return target creature. Again, mana value 3 or less. Here's the pattern. People sing along if it starts to sound familiar. But if the creature dies this time, it gets exiled. But I can't flashback this, so it's I could cast it for 5 mana and do it again later. 3 Boardwipes with Path of Peril, so I can get rid of the early swarms for just 3 mana, or if I get 6, I can pay the cleave cost and destroy everybody. And I'm still kind of interested in what the reasoning was for Puppeteer with making this target creature card mana value 3 or less. It's been a white aspect of bringing things back from the graveyard. It's really strange to see that limitation on a black card. Although I guess maybe they just decided that they had to put some kind of limit on it, or it might be too powerful. Extinguish the Light, destroy target creature or planeswalker. I thought I should have at least one card that takes out planeswalkers. If mana value is 3 or less, you gain 3 life. So we've still got, even my removal card is still doing that mana value 3 or less kind of theme, right? And then finally, I have 3 copies of Gix's Command. This does not do mana value 3 or less, though. But nice for a little extra board wipe. So I kind of got 6 semi-board wipes in the deck. And then a whole bunch of double lands so I can do black or white mana. 1 Field of Ruin, a couple of Ganjos, Fair Basilica for a card draw, Hidden Necropolis to discover, and a couple of Takenumas to also get things back from the graveyard with no mana loss. I also have a second copy of Restless Fortress, so I have 2 copies of Restless Fortress in this deck as well. And that's it. And it's just kind of a way, just the whole major idea isn't just the theme of mana value 3 or less, but I wanted to have a deck where board wipes wouldn't matter so much. So because that's kind of one of the things that's really stymied me when I have a really good creature deck, is one good board wipe at the wrong time, and your game's just over. You know, you've committed all your forces to the field, and suddenly you draw 3 lands in a row. This way, some of the cards that I'm going to have things like this Recommission in my hand any given time. So if they do manage to wipe the board, I should be able to just automatically get a threat back on the field. The big thing that would stop me really would be graveyard defeat. Do I want to recommission so soon? I think I'm going to go ahead and put that in the graveyard for now. I do need to build up my lands. I want 6 to do a board wipe if I need it. There was one card I didn't talk about, right? Meticulous Excavation. But I can use that to bring this card back up if it survives. The Street Chef. Well, I kind of need the land. They get a counter and a token, which is kind of disgusting because it's already 3 mana. And my hand is full. They can't play that just yet. Do I want to play Soul Search from jail? Or from exile? Let's see. That comes in tapped. You know what? I feel like I'm going to get enough land. Let's go ahead and use these. Get rid of something in their hand. Oh, those are gross. Let's see. Whenever creatures deal damage, controller may exile that many cards at the top of the library. Let's do... that's an enchantment, right? Let's do this one. Now my problem is Soulless Jeller, right? Permanent cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. What are the odds that Arena would find this card on a deck that's based on me getting my cards out of the graveyard? Can't cast non-creature skills from graveyard or exile. Okay. That's not opponent, that's both players. So if you play that, then we can't play the exile cards anymore after this, right? Is that just their way of thinning out my deck? They should attack with the Unlucky Witness too, but they don't. So I can't even play that land now, right? No, I can. Oh, non-creature spells. Okay. That's okay. Okay, so I got 5 of my 6 lands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I just go ahead and let something go to the graveyard? Or... But we get rid of you now. That way I get 3 life out of it at least. And then it's just Boardwalk City next turn. No, I'm taking all that. I'm taking all of it. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can't really wait. I was going to try and save the Phyrexian Missionary, but we're just going to destroy everything. And this is kind of the other theme of the deck. Between Path of Peril and Gix's Command, I've got 6 kind of board wipes in my hand. Or in my deck, I should say. I don't always have them in my hand. But this means I'm never afraid of casting a board wipe myself because I have such an easy way to get things back. In the meantime, they're going to have to wait on these. Okay, so Hero of the Dunes brings back my creature, and we can bring down the Excavation enchantment as well. So that's a good turn. I don't like him. Another Soulless Jailer. Interesting. Okay, so everybody that I have is more than power 2, so destroy a creature with power 2 or less, and sacrifice highest power that's left. Another board wipe that works only against my opponents. And things are looking up. Okay, Vigilance and Haste, right? 6 cards, exile a legendary creature, they get Urbrask. And they manage to cast it. In the meantime, I don't even have any more creatures in the graveyard. So I don't need to kick that, because there's nothing in the graveyard to kick. And I think we just block everything. That gives them trample, doesn't it? Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we let them go ahead and exile the legendary creature. And then we got to figure out how to stop this. I can only do 4, so... we take out the one with most of the life, or most of the power. Oh, they can prevent that, can't they? Shoot. Didn't even pay attention to that. Okay, I can get my stuff back, so we're not really afraid. I can't really get a 5/1 back unless I do defossilize. Do I do defossilize? Yeah, let's block some damage. How many do I want to exile? Decline. I'll take 1. Decline. Okay, they got a bunch of lands. We'll do this. And we're back where we were. So do they have nothing but legendary creatures? It seems like it, yeah. So they're always going to hit. Wow. Yeah, let's take a couple. Okay, they're doing it. We'll do it. They're just taking everything they can. Fine, we'll follow suit. We'll see what we can get going on here. What do we got left? 30 versus 18? Yeah, we've got plenty. Okay. Are we having fun? They've got lots of food, though. I was hoping for a board wipe. And out of all of those cards, didn't get one. I have a couple more paths. Oh, hello. You're going to look at my hand? I didn't have much left in my hand. What's in my graveyard? Hero Missionary. Not a lot compared to what they just got. Okay. Well, let's gain a life. Do they even have anything left in their hand? They didn't even have anything left in their hand. Okay, sure, let's just keep pumping them up. No attacks. Lose all those cards. What do they have to work with? Not a lot. They've got a helping hand. They've already got their legendary creatures out. Okay, another Curse of Hospitality. If I didn't block, they've basically got lethal damage, but they don't have... They don't seem to have interaction that much. They brought a Soulless Jailer back. Again, I have not gone up against this card. I've gone up against this card maybe once in 2 years. And as soon as I get a graveyard deck that I get things out of my graveyard, this thing shows up. Hey, why am I not allowed to block? Oh, that's all. Oh, they only attacked with only the flyers. Smart. Oh, no, they're going to get to draw all my stuff? They get all the board wipes. What's left in the cards in my hand? I got 12 cards left. Oh, I'm so dead. I can't use these. I can't use that. this only brings me a 2/3. I'm basically dead. There's nothing else to do there. I drew a ton of cards, missed all my land drops. They were able to hit me, drew all tons of cards that were my cards, and drew my board wipes. And they brought back the one card that completely neutralizes the entire advantage of my complete deck. Okay, Arena. Arena's AI algorithm works pretty nicely. I don't know how they managed to code in all those thousands of different cards, but they've got a rock, paper, scissors thing going. It's not really... What the AI does, though, it isn't rock, paper, scissors. They were able to analyze my deck and find the one card that is my kryptonite. We're not playing rock, paper, scissors. We're playing rock, paper, scissors, artificial intelligence kryptonite. And whenever they feel like, they can throw the kryptonite at you. Just to say, hey, you thought you had a funny deck, and we're going to completely neutralize everything that you liked about your deck. And your deck won't work. But they only tend to do that once or twice in a session. They don't do it forever. So by way of apology, you see they already gave me a board wipe up front. Looks like a 5-color deck. People are getting complicated on me. I wonder why... I wonder where all the quick aggro decks went. That's how the first half of this evening went, was a bunch of quick aggro decks. And me not getting past 4 lands ever. This looks like a Traxa recursion deck anyway. They didn't give me a lot to do, right? This is already out of Path of Peril, so I need to wait for 6 for that. I need 5 for the board wipe. I need 5 just for this creature, which you don't want first. You want this one to come later to save other fodder that's already gone into the graveyard. Yeah, this looks like the old Atraxa stuff. Keep it coming. They have not missed a land drop yet. It must be nice. And I do have to worry about board wipes, don't I? Well, counter spells, I should say. What happens if we go ahead and do this? No. 3, 4, 5. I might need that for the board wipe. Let's go ahead and let it come through. It's a little bit risky. Okay. Let's do it this way. What can you do? Why would you bring down a Leyline Binding? You didn't banish anything. I don't get that. Are they going to flicker it? Alright, well, we bring down a creature anyway. If they have the cheap cut downs and stuff, they can get rid of that easy enough. Okay. But we could spoil that, can't we? No, we can't. We don't have enough mana. So now we're in bigger trouble. because they can bring back whatever's in the graveyard with that. One for each turn. And do they have the second black mana source yet? No. No, they're just top decking though. We might have a chance. No, see, there comes Atraxa. 2, 3, 4. I need one more land to get rid of her. Well, no, I can do Giss's Command. What do we got? Leyline Binding, Chrome Sharks, all sorts of nasty stuff. They didn't get... They still didn't get a second black mana source for the Virtue of Persistence. And they sacrificed that to get the Bramble out? Interesting. Let's see, they're tapped out, right? Let's get rid of this now. I already have lifelink. Do I need to... Let's just get rid of them. Sacrifice highest, destroy power 2 or less. They just have nothing on the field. Still waiting for one more land, just so I can take out another Atraxa with Black Sun's Twilight. They can do the ley line whenever they want. They can ramp whenever they want. Or they can play their next Atraxa, which of course you have the next Atraxa ready. And now they'll have the second swamp, finally. And they got another Atraxa, so third Atraxa. I only have one Atraxa. I don't have it in this deck. So, top decking saves them again. Yet another arena showing me another way that I can be beat. Right? Because mine's going into the graveyard. Theirs wasn't really bringing Atraxa back from the graveyard, though, was it? It's just ramping into it. They don't have First Strike. They fall for it. Because what do they care? They've got another Atraxa. So we bring Hera Dunes back, which automatically brings back Extraction Specialist. There's their second land, and now Virtue of Persistence comes out. And I didn't include anything to get rid of cards from the opponent's graveyard, which means we're pretty much dead. They get rid of the Extraction Specialist. Well, they're able to kick it twice. I lose everything. Okay. I think they're playing with me. I think they're playing with their food. And in the meantime, you notice they get all the land they want. And we have missed land drops for 3 or 4 turns in a row now. I guess we should feel good that we got... They did not take the third Atraxa. I thought there was a third Atraxa they could grab. I think they're playing. Alright. 5 again. Get rid of you. We're just going to do the same thing. They have a third Virtue of Persistence. They can't save it. I don't know what's their problem. You had your turn. Let me have mine, please. Are they gonna exile their own? What are they doing? I don't know why you do that, unless you have a blink spell later. They got so much health. I would need 5 free turns to hit them, and they can just bring down one of these. Yeah, it's, okay, so there's the next Atraxa. I think I'm out of ammo. Unless I can top deck a Gix's Command or a Path of Peril. We're pretty much done. Finally, they actually use a Leyline Binding on one of my things. Okay, so we can destroy you. And... oh, wait. Can I... no. Okay. Yeah. No. Helping Hand first. So still no land, and still none of my other creatures. I did finally get a Gixian Puppeteer. Okay, I think that's the death knell right there. There's nothing in my deck that can take care of that. I had enough things that I could get rid of 3 Atraxes, basically in a row almost. But when you can dig into the graveyard and just get another Atraxa back out the very next turn, every turn from now on. Okay, Arena. It is a Atraxa Graveyard Recursive deck after all, once you put Virtue of Persistence in there. So, Arena massacred me, but they did it in a different way twice in a row. And now we're just going back to mono red aggro after all that? Kind of seems like it. Depending on how much removal they'd have, I do have a certain amount of lifelink in the deck. Might come in handy. But the problem is, once they have Etching of Kamano out, if they remove my creature, it's exiled, so I can't get that out of the graveyard either. So, just the presence of Etching of Kamano really puts a crimp in my plan. Wow. Mono red is taking this long to think? That's rare. Hello? Thank you. We just keep a Ganjo free to take out Etching of Kamano, so that as our creatures die, we can get them back from the graveyard. And if they don't attack with it, we'll use Extinguish the Light on it next turn. Haste, right? Of course. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. Are you going to do that? No. So they keep Etching of Kamano back. Interesting choices. What do they know? And look at them still hesitating. Let's see if they can protect Raiju or not. Is this like the slowest mono red I've ever had to deal with, or what? They seem afraid. Okay. Wow, that took forever. They're still not done waiting. Just don't kill the missionary. Was that so hard? Alright. We get rid of etching up. Come on. We gain 3 life. We try and get a couple more life back to extend this. And notice out of everybody, Mono Red Aggro not only has the same number of lands I do, but they've got some extra mana advantage too. So even Red managed to outramp us. And aren't you having just the best of luck with all your creatures? And these are beyond my Path of Peril board wipe, which is fine because I'm probably going to miss the board land drop anyway. And I would need 2 more land drops and the board wipe to be drawn. And I don't have that kind of time. I can put you down. And I can make you show what you got. Lightning Strike. Okay. We got rid of that at least. They shouldn't have put it there. They should have spread it out. Get rid of 1. Extraction Specialist brings back, so I have 3 defenders. I don't exactly have 3 defenders yet, but I can put Extraction Specialist in the line of fire if they don't remove it. And then we can use Hero of the Dunes to bring it back next turn. They could just keep swinging over my head and force me to attack into their 3/4, which I can't beat. I guess they're debating on if they should use the Facebreaker's ability to sacrifice a treasure and exile a card. they'd be gambling on what they draw this particular turn. It's like I'm facing a player who's used to playing blue. Aside from the sacrifice treasure trick, there isn't a whole lot else that's complicated about this attack strategy. It's still turn sideways and attack in with everybody, basically. This does happen with red. They're used to having quick wins, especially in ranked. We're not in ranked right now. But we take this commercial break and all the roping to remind you, here at Tpull's Corner, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And that was all during my turn. It wasn't even their turn. I feel bad about asking you to like the video while you just have to sit through the roping. I just got a new computer. I got new recording software. I think I've got some new tricks I can do for editing at some point. But I need to get the free time to do that. All I have time to do right now is record this game. If they had hard copy manuals, I could be studying right now. I could be studying how to edit with this new software. But everything's online now. I miss a good old-fashioned manual. I liked, if you remember games like StarCraft, back when Blizzard was good, they'd have story in the game manuals. They'd have very thorough instructions in the game manuals. I used to love reading those manuals, even before I played the game. Are you serious? Usually if Red's going to scoop, they scoop a lot sooner than that. They were not satisfied with their draw. They didn't even try and play it out. Okay, Arena. We've had you play Atraxa decks on me. We've had you play Kryptonite decks on me. And Mono Red Aggro that scoops. Can we have a fair kind of battle against a player that won't scoop? Can we have a good match? No creatures yet. We'll risk it. I'm not sure if I'm too top-heavy with 4 copies of Hero of the Dunes. Maybe I should go find the angel that can cast things from the graveyard once a turn. Discard a card. Sure. They'll just see that we got a 5-mana card, creature card that we can't bring back. Although if they read it and realize that it brings back other creatures, they might already guess at what our entire strategy is. And they must have been mana starved themselves. No. It's no fun when my opponent gets mana starved either. Boardwipes Prime. We get to go first. Woohoo! We cast a spell. We're already doing better than the last game. Okay, we bring out the Phyrexian Missionary, because if the Missionary dies, we can bring it back with the Extraction Specialist, but in case I get mana starved, I couldn't afford the kicker to bring it back, to bring the Specialist back with the Missionary just yet, so this one comes out first. Okay, let's see what you got. We have Gay's Gift, Ozolith, Tribute, Return to Nature. They could bring this out next turn, so let's get rid of their creature. Everything else is basically support, right? They can play the Return to Nature anytime they want and get rid of the Meticulous Excavation. But I do have more than one copy in the deck, right? I think I have 2 copies at least. They just have another one. They just have another one. Yeah, I don't have the right color to bring terror down, which is what I wanted, so I'd have to double block that thing. The problem is, they have Guy's Gift, they can play as an instant any time, and they have Snakeskin Veil. So, the only way around that is Gix's Command. I'd kind of like to make them burn those, though, before I do Gix's Command. They don't even want to wait for that, do they? Okay, but they don't have Vigilance, right? And they tapped out. Let's see, Hexproof, Trample, Indestructible. Okay, so I missed a land drop, which is terrible. So we can gain 5 of those life points back. They can keep whomping on us, but at some point they're going to have to cease their attack if they don't get another creature out. And someday I will get a 5th land. Do they have a fight spell? They have a fight spell. Okay, deal damage spell. Alright. Doesn't get exiled, though. Five lands. I need 6. I'll take Adversary. Do I bring the Missionary back up to my hand? I think I do. No. No, I don't actually. I want to be able to put counters on it. If they only have the one creature, I need something else to do with my second option for Gix's Command. Another fight spell, okay. And Gix's Command lets me bring back 2 creatures, right? 2 creatures from my graveyard. Okay, perfect. They've got all their eggs in the one basket now. This is only the second creature they've had out of the entire match. And this is a sacrifice trigger. And it's the opponent that triggers it, so Hexproof won't stop them. I get my 2 creatures back. It's weird that they make me select them, because those are the only 2, but it's the wording on Gix's Command. Return up to 2 creature cards. If there was a reason I wanted to only bring 1 creature back from the graveyard, I could have just selected 1 and left the other one in the graveyard. So it's actually based on a little bit of flexibility rather than just, hey, they've got 2, we're going to automatically bring 2 in. Okay, so I can bring this down now, which might be a surprise to them. And now they're going to be like Mono Red was, and they're going to freeze, and they're going to take forever. I'm so impatient. This is still a different game than chess. Chess has a set kind of rules. It has a set game board. All the pieces are always the same. But you're thinking 7 moves ahead. Here, you don't normally have to think 7 moves ahead. You just don't. If you think 3 moves ahead, that's usually all you need to do. Unless you're in like a world championship match. I'm trying to think. The only time that I've had to think more than 3 or 4 moves ahead in this game is when I'm playing blue and I have all sorts of different spells and access to a ton of mana, and I can dig through my library and or my graveyard and do multiple different things. But here I'm still mostly, you know, play a creature or get a creature out of the graveyard, so my stuff is pretty simple. Do I get rid of something? Or do I bring this down now? Let's bring this down now. Well, they're not. No. Good game. And that's how it works. Get your creatures out of the graveyard. This was kind of the opposite problem, right? Instead of land starved, they were creature starved, which means either they just had a bad draw on creatures, or maybe, I haven't made a deck out of Zoya Lava Tongue yet. Maybe I should think about that. Or maybe instead of just getting land starved, maybe they do have the creature mix right, but they just got creature starved for a change, which has got to be frustrating for them. Let's see, at the beginning of your end step, if you descended, each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Oh, actually that fits in really nicely with the deck I've been waiting to make. Okay. That might work. Alright, let's go ahead and show you this deck one more time. Extraction and Recommission is what I call it after what I usually do, find a couple of spells. Right, so Recommission's there, and then Extraction Specialist. And so you can already see from the graveyard recursion type stuff or the spells that prevent you from digging into your graveyard. It does have a particular kind of kryptonite, but there's usually only 1 or 2 people on all of Arena that's playing with those cards. Arena, if you play this deck, I bet you Arena will find somebody who's playing with those cards and put you up against them if you play for like 6 or 7 rounds in a row with the deck. So do me a favor. As always, we ask you to like and subscribe. But if you take this deck out for a spin and you get the one of the cards, like Soulless Jailer or another card that prevents you from getting into your graveyard, or suddenly you find yourself facing all sorts of graveyard exile cards that you weren't receiving the night before, leave a comment and let me know if this is also happening to you. But other than that, just let me know what you think of the deck, and we'll do something different next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.